swinging an old oak tree. Sweet honey for my honeybee.
I wrote a kid's book called Reggie's Place, and it's about the outreach center in downtown Des Moines, Iowa, and it's through Iowa Homeless Youth Centers, and it's named after a boy named Reggie who died in 2001. I've always had an interest in the problem of homelessness in our country. My mom is a social worker, and she went back to college when I was a young girl and got involved with the homeless and helping them and counseling them. And I remember one time she told me a story about how she went out in a van to offer services, and they went into a dark alley, and here were all these little kids and people that came out of the alley, and it just kind of stuck in my head that there's homeless kids that don't have food to eat and shelter, and since then I've just really had an interest in helping them. And so from there I took initiative and thought it'd be good to write a kid's book to explain it not only to kids but to teens and adults as well, who these homeless youth are and why they're homeless. I collaborated with my father-in-law, who was an art teacher for the middle school at Iowa Falls for 35 plus years, and he did all of the illustrations in the book, and I was very appreciative. And then my brother-in-law, Colleen Conrad, he's an alum of Iowa State, he did the layout design. Writing a children's book you think would be easier, just because it's a children's book. It's simple language, but it was actually harder than what I'm used to as a journalist. And so I decided to write it through the perspective of my 5-year-old daughter, so that they can relate to her and how she sees me as a volunteer with outreach and what I do to help the homeless. It was stressful, it was fun, it was good, it was sad. I learned a lot about Reggie. I talked to his brother and sister and former counselors of his, and I think what I learned most about him is he cared more about others before himself. And one of the stories that I actually like to tell is a counselor told me about how he saw him one winter walking down the street with a short-sleeved shirt on. He didn't have a coat on, and he said, "Reggie, where's your coat?" He said, "Well, I gave it to so-and-so." He said, "Well, why did you give him your coat?" And he said, "He needed it more than me." There was kind of an outcry by the legislature and people in the city about why did this happen? This shouldn't have happened. How did he fall through the cracks of the system? So I think because of his death and the implementation of the Iowa Aftercare Services Network, a lot of Reggies out there have been helped, and probably a lot of lives have been saved. Reggie Sleep Out is held every year at Drake Stadium in the fall, usually when it's colder out, because they want people to camp out in tents or cardboard boxes to get an idea of what it's like to be homeless and what these homeless kids go through. And it doesn't cost anything to participate. They recommend donations, or you can donate money, you can fundraise, you can have people sponsor you as an individual or a team. Jason Wall-Smith from the group The Nadas, which originated at Iowa State, he did some photography for me for the book, and he and Mike Butterworth from The Nadas are performing this year at Reggie Sleep Out, so he's helped a lot, and I appreciate it very much. You can find more information at www.reggiesplacekidsbook.com, and you can also order the book through there, and direct proceeds go to Iowa Homeless Youth Centers.
All alone in the darkness, sing your house song. Night air is as empty as the day is long. All alone in the darkness, you avoid the fire. You fear it'll pull you in, instinct or desire. Spending time on the outside, you can see all